Hi, welcome back. My name is Jonas and wanted to talk to you guys today about neurotransmitters. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. So what are neurotransmitters? Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers in the body, and their job is to transmit signals from nerve cells to target cells. And these reactions and exchange result in functions that take place in the body, such as appetite, heart rate, all sorts of different reactions in the body. So there's several types of neurotransmitters, and we're going to talk today about why you want to know what neurotransmitter you're dominant in so that you can learn how to tweak your lifestyle or your neurotransmitter to better function, have better moods, have better sleep, and you can do little small things just to figure this out. At some point, you're going to want to go to Braverman Test, BravermanTest.com, and find out what, it's a free service, it's a free test, it's really actually pretty quick, and you can figure out what neurotransmitter you're dominant in and which one you're deficient in so that you can, we can talk about it, but figure out how to tweak your lifestyle and supplement accordingly. So I'm just going to cover a few of them today, but one of the ones that I'm going to cover is, we'll start with acetylcholine. People that are acetylcholine, that lead with an acetylcholine neurotransmitter, they're highly creative people. They're usually open to new ideas. They're sensory thinkers. They are personally devoted to one particular topic, or can be personally devoted to multiple topics and give it their all. They have very attentive feelings, and they're usually pretty authentic, down-to-earth people. They usually make great employees. Dopamine dominant people are overly alert. They're usually less tired, and they're very strong-willed when their dopamine is balanced. They're usually inventors, they're usually strategic thinkers, and they're not overly sensitive. GABA dominant people, 50% of the population this speaks to, and consistent, they're the steady as you goes, they're socially aware, they have a deep concern for others, they are the organizers, they're constantly looking at their tasks and what they need to do during that day. They like to do activities like scrapbooking, and they're usually photographers that they like to capture beauty, and they're also usually pretty good team players. Serotonin dominant people make up about 17% of the population. They have usually great sleeps unless they have some sort of imbalance in their life that's taking place. They have really good mornings. That serotonin hits them first thing in the morning. They get really good delta waves that allow for a deep, rejuvenating sleep, and they're usually realists with exceptional gross motor skills. And something interesting about them is most of them don't love commitment. So one of the other things we're going to talk about is what happens when you have too much of a certain neurotransmitter within your system. And you can maybe identify with yourself as to what you have too much of as I go through these. So if you have too much dopamine, you are an excessive risk taker. You possibly have a very high sexual drive with, but in not fulfilling, but a high sexual drive, and you are usually pretty impulsive. Another one is acetylcholine. If you have too much acetylcholine in your system, you can often be one of those people that are constantly giving too much to everybody else around you. You're taking on all sorts of projects. You can often combat moments of mania, anxiety, and you feel like you have to take on so much projects to just kind of function and be happy. So that would be an acetylcholine dominant leader, and anecdotally speaking, I am definitely heavy on the acetylcholine side. GABA is when you have too much GABA, it often results in the inability to make decisions without leadership. So if you're constantly humming and hawing about something, you feel like you have no direction, you are often waiting or constantly asking advice of somebody. You, not that there's anything wrong with seeing a therapist, but you rely on the therapist for advice, or you can't make these decisions on your own. Sometimes this personality can be highly GABA dominant. For too much serotonin, we often see behavioral patterns like nervousness, or very, very morbidly afraid of being alone, and desperate for an interpersonal relationship, but that once they're in a connected interpersonal relationship, they feel cramped and they want space, but that they're constantly searching for that like connection with that. So those are just a few of the neurotransmitters. For if you are dominant, some of the signs, and maybe you can identify with some of them. If you are deficient in some of the neurotransmitters, in terms of dopamine, if you do not have enough dopamine as your neurotransmitter, there are early symptoms that take place. You can start noticing them and correct them. Fatigue, memory loss, sometimes just really deep blues without explanation, possibly depression without real explanation of like having a life event take place that would cause that event, but it's just an overall feeling. Your metabolism starts to slow, and you have often been diagnosed with kidney problems or thyroid problems. So that could indicate a low amount of dopamine in your life. If you have a low amount of acetylcholine in your life, you can be sometimes forgetful, slowed response to sensory stimulants, and often anxious, or you can also, some of your health ailments can be arthritis, diabetes, or high cholesterol. Those are the things that are more prominent in people that have a deficient amount of acetylcholine. For GABA deficiencies, the person that's steady Eddie, that's always there, always reliable, that person starts to dissipate and fade away. They have bursts of energy and then feel like they can't pull themselves off the couch for a week. And they also go through insomnia, headaches, mania, and impulsive behaviors that don't have any reason behind them. So that would be their health ailments for a GABA deficiency, insomnia, headaches, and mania. Serotonin deficiencies, the right and left side of the brains will be out of balance. So these people will feel that they're overtired, or they'll feel that they're out of control. They also have higher inflammatory response in their body. So this can lead to insomnia or arthritis, so it's good to know these kind of markers so that you can identify what you are deficient in. So with that, I would go to bravermantest.com and fill out your neurotransmitter quiz, and you can see what you're deficient in, what you are having too much of, and then you can balance your life. Some people that I've worked with, some of them just have really bad sleep problems, or insomnia or anxiety, just because their neurotransmitters are out of balance. And we can balance those neurotransmitters with the proper nutrition or supplements or whatnot. So it's a really worthwhile test for you to take as a person. Again, that's bravermantest.com. It's a free test, and check it out and let me know what you think. Wishing you all a great rest of your weekend. Follow for more tips. Bye-bye.